I can hear you now. So Chaz, if you go in John Charlie in the middle or on the right? Shall we have Glenn in the middle maybe? Good evening and welcome to Orient Live here at the Breyer Group Stadium. It's a Tuesday night under the lights and the O's looking for their first win in the league this year, and it's Newport County who are tonight's opposition, and I'm delighted to be joined by ex-Orient defender Glenn Wilkie and ex-promotion winning midfielder Charlie Lee. Thank you for joining us tonight, boys. And Charlie, first of all, how's retirement been treating you?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it actually. Yeah, it's a bit different. Had a couple of months off and getting to come and watch a bit of football.
Well, we're delighted to have you with us tonight. And Glenn, Saturday was a bit of a warm-up, getting the cobwebs, blowing them away. Tonight's a big test for the O's against an informed Newport side.
Yeah, it's going to be a difficult game. Saturday, like you say, was hopefully the warm-up to brighter and bigger and brighter things, let's say. Hopefully the team's firing all cylinders tonight and we can get them goals that we lacked on Saturday. And
the club have, of course, been busy so far this January transfer window, getting some signings in, and a couple of them are making their full debuts this evening. So let's take a look at the Orient lineup for tonight's fixture. In goal for the O's, number 22, Lawrence Vigouroux. Number 3, Connor Wood. Number 9, Harry Smith. 10, Dan Kemp. 14 making his full debut for the O's, Otis Khan. Number 15, Alex Mitchell. Number 16, Aaron Drynan. 19 and wearing the armband this evening, Omar Beckles. 25, Shad Oji. 26, Hector Kiprianu. And making his debut also, number 32, Jordan Brown. And on the subs for the O's this evening, Sam Sargent, Dan Happy, Adam Thompson, Paul Smith, Dan Moss, Ruel Satiriou and Matt Young. So your initial view on that first starting 11, Glenn. There's 2 full debutants tonight in Otis Khan and Jordan Brown. Let's start with Otis, because he obviously came on as a sub on Saturday. Are you expecting big things from him at right wing back tonight?
Yeah, no, we think he's going to start there. He did look very lively on Saturday. Something we've been missing, especially Saturday in the game when it was a bit dull. He'd come on, he had a lot of sort of ideas, fresh legs. Obviously he had his debut, he wanted to prove something, so getting in the starting lineup tonight, let's hope he's exactly the same, and it's obviously Mr. James missing for this second half of the season. It's really vital the way we play, having someone in them 2 wing back positions who can come in and give us that sort of forward momentum that we've had at the beginning of the season and we've been lacking of late. So hopefully he comes in, slots in there, and Jordan in the middle, no one's seen him, so it's very difficult to say what he's going to be like. But obviously Kenny's seen him in training this week, so when he's seen something he really likes, so got to go with the manager on this.
And just on the subject of that right back position, obviously Dan Moss drops to the bench today. He started on Saturday. Do you feel like it's a case of Kenny almost weighing up which of the 2 fullbacks will be the one to maybe make that right back spot their own?
I think that he's looked at a pair of them. One of them's more defensive, the other one's a more attacking threat, and that's what we're lacking. We've kept a clean sheet, we're very tight at the back, we're very good defensively, but we've lacked, like we say, in them last few games we've had, getting forward and creating chances. So I think he's looked at it, he's weighed it up, and looking at Khan on the right, he's more of a threat going forward. So I think that's where the balance is, where the way his sort of thinking process has probably gone.
And Charlie, if we look at that second debutant, Jordan Brown, he's starting in the middle of the pitch alongside Hector Kiprianu, and it's a pretty young and some might say inexperienced midfield too. What would be your message to them two tonight going out in that new partnership?
Well, the good thing when you've got youngsters is the fearlessness. That's what you're looking for. You're looking 2 young lads to go out there and just give everything. And you would say that about all the debutants and anyone. Just go out there and try and enjoy it in front of the fans and give it everything. And there's a bit more experience on the bench for later on in the game. But you just hope that they go out there and have that fearlessness of the youth.
And obviously with Jordan partnering Hector in that midfield, he was coming through during your years at the club, but he's not the only one. Shad Oji as well. How good is it to come back a few years on and see these products that were coming through when you were here putting a stamp on the team? Definitely.
When you see the boys out there, you knew that they're strong. There was a strong youth group when we were here, and it's great to see them coming through with Ruel on the bench as well. And Dan, there's so much good young players coming through, and it's good to see them all in the first team.
And it's going to be a big game for especially Hector tonight. He's going to need to step up. He's always partnered either Pratley or Clay. He's always had someone a little bit more experienced alongside him, but tonight it's his job to kind of do the marshalling.
Do you know what? I like that. He's got to grow. He's got to take responsibility now. He can't be looking at the man next to him. He's got to, it's on his shoulders now. He's got a young lad who's made 1 league start, I think, for Derby or in a cup game. So he's the experienced one out of the 2. So there's a bit more sort of, I wouldn't say pressure. but a bit more on him. And do you know what? Hopefully, he loves it. He might love that responsibility. Let's get him on the ball. He's key tonight, getting the ball in the middle of the park, and we want everything going through him. And him on the half turn, going forward, looking for them forward passes. I think he'll do well in there today.
And that midfield too will be quite key to keeping another clean sheet and following on from Saturday. The back three of Ogie, Mitchell and Beckles, it's a very solid back three. I think it's probably Kenny's preferred one. How key is it after that long enforced break we had with all the postponements? How key is it that we don't start leaking goals? We keep that consistency of clean sheets.
No, the consistency to winning games and getting points is not letting in too many goals. Very, very rarely do you see teams near the top who ship goals week in, week out. So having a solid three and the best goalie at the level, to be honest, is really good, and it's an exceptional thing for the club to have. And they've got to keep getting that sort of defenders out week in, week out, and building and trying to score some more goals.
Well, hopefully they'll do that, and we'll look us slightly further up the field for that then. And it's Paul Smith who dropped out this evening. Dan Kemp comes in for him. Dan Kemp showed in the second half of the first half of the season what he can do. And he's got a chance tonight again to show Kenny exactly what he can offer in that number 10 position.
Yeah, he started the season slowly and found himself out the side. Then he managed to get his place back, and he started to do really well. We got a few man of the match performances in there, and he was key in some of them really good results we had. Sort of getting the ball, just dropping off the front two and picking his passes and making really intelligent runs in behind them. You know, I was watching him warm up just before we come on air, and he's got a big grin on his face. He looks like he's really happy to be back in the side. You know, when players feel that way and they're not nervous, thinking, "Oh, I can't do anything wrong. Adverse effects. He looks like he's got a smile on his face. Well, he has got a smile on his face. He looks like he's going to enjoy this tonight. He really will. We get him the ball. He could be key as well. We get him in between them front two and let him go and do what he does, and then what he done last season as well. It could be really key and a really, really good result tonight for us.
And not only is he key and crucial in the way that he's tenacious and gets back in midfield, but he's also such a creative player. And how important would that be looking at our strikers tonight, Charlie, as a man who's played that position up top yourself? You know, both strikers have 13 goals each, but they haven't scored since their braces back in early December against Swindon. How important is it that front three click and they get back in amongst the goals and try and get off the mark for this calendar year?
Yeah, definitely. Look, strikers will go through little spells of not scoring, but I was here for that Swindon game, and they were both threats for the whole game. And there's a lot of quality there, and that's why they've scored goals. And I think when the manager brings in someone who ain't played the last couple of games, in that little 10 role to create something, you're just looking for that spark, and that little spark might get the striker a goal, and then they go on a long run. That's what we're all hoping for. So I don't think we should be too worried about the lack of goals. I think it's going to come. I think with that quality, I wouldn't be surprised if it happens tonight.
I think the key part with it, with Kem coming back into the side as well, is we've got to have good quality balls going into Smith and Drinan up front when they've got their back to goal, because what Kemp does is really intelligent. As soon as the ball's going into the front of them, he'll pull round and he'll come off the front of them. They'll drop the ball back off him, and then he'll pick them little passes, them defence splitting passes in between. So it's really key the defenders and the two guys in midfield get good quality balls into the front players.
Well, you O's faithful will be keeping your eyes on that front too and hoping to see some goals tonight. But it is, of course, all eyes on the debutants that we've been talking about, Jordan Brown and Ethan Coleman from Kings Lynn, who also signed yesterday for an undisclosed fee from Kings Lynn Town. Let's hear from what those two had to say on signing the club.
We've had a big welcome to Leyton Orient. Couple of weeks on the burner this one, but the deal's done and you're in the club. So what attracted you to Leyton Orient?
Thank you very much, first of all. I'm delighted to be here. It's a great club. It's obviously a step above the league I was in. So I'm very happy to be here. Leyton Orient's a massive club with great history. And as I said, I'm buzzing to be here.
Yeah, I can't wait. Obviously, I know how big of a club it is. To be here, it's a privilege, and I just want to get out there now and help the team climb up the table and push for them promotion places.
I like to call myself a centre midfielder. I can play 4 or 8, and I can be a centre back if I need to be. I played there at Brackley quite often, which is the team I was at before Kings Lynn. I like to call myself a centre midfielder. and hopefully I can help the team as much as possible.
There's not many more experienced managers in England than Kenny Jackett. Was he a big part of coming down?
Yeah, massive part. Yeah, when I came down for the week, I spoke to him, got to know him, and he was absolutely brilliant with me. And I've seen what he's done in the past, obviously, at big clubs. Now he's come to another big club. I want to come here and be part of it. And yeah, just really excited to get going and play under him.
Well, I'm really thankful to be here, and I want to show how hungry I am to the supporters. And yeah, I want to push as much as I can personally. I'm a young player and I'm hungry, and I want to prove to everyone that I can be here and push on further.
I'd say just that I'm going to give everything that I can to put a smile on their face in the stadium. I'm really excited to play for them. I know full well they back the team from what I've seen in the past. So yeah, just really excited to play for them, and I'm going to leave everything on the pitch.
Well, everyone's going to be keen to see what those two new lads can offer to the side for the rest of this season. And of course, Jordan Brown is starting in the heart of midfield tonight. And if you're watching along tonight on YouTube, don't forget that tonight is available to watch for all fans worldwide. So if you haven't purchased your match pass, head over to the Orient website, Match Centre, to get involved now. But just looking at those two signings, Glenn, two centre mids coming in. Obviously, Callum Riley's not really managed to feature for the O's. It's been a position where a lot of fans have been wanting us to strengthen in, and it feels like the club have listened to that and gone ahead and done it.
Yeah, they have. They've had, obviously they've assessed the squad and where I'd say it's not the weakness, it's where the injuries are at the moment. We've done so well to get ourselves in a decent position, and then we've had injuries in key areas, and the right sort of wing back position, left wing back of late, and in the middle of the park, obviously with Craig Clay being out. So they've had a look, listen to Kenny and the coaching staff where they need to strengthen in, and they've gone out and got them. It'll be really, really interesting tonight to see how Jordan Brown does. Obviously a young lad, but obviously just a bit late for Ethan Coleman to be included in the squad tonight. But from what we're hearing, he's from what I've heard as well, and I don't know if you know a bit about him, he seems a very, very good signing.
Yeah, certainly does, and it is a shame he's not involved tonight. But Charlie, it seems as though no matter what club you went to, you managed to establish yourself as a fan's favourite. What would be your message to those two new signings coming in and trying to capture the heart of the fans and kind of get them on side? How do they go about and do that?
Well, you've got to come in and do what you're good at. There's a reason that the club signed them, and it's great for the fans to see new signings. It's that little bit of excitement. So go out there and do what you're good at. They'll know their strengths and weaknesses, and go out there and express yourself and try and have fun. And it's just tough, a bit of pressure, but you go out there and you do what you're good at, you'll get success.
I think with any new players or any player at all, supporters love to see somebody trying.
Yeah.
If you run around a lot, give 100%, put yourself into tackles as well, and then if you score, kiss the badge. Obviously that goes down well. But if they see you trying and you're trying your best, you might not be having the best sort of game, but you'll be a fan's favourite, like Charlie.
Well, Jordan will certainly have to give 100% tonight, and it's Newport County who he will be facing, and of course the O's will be facing. So let's take a look at the Newport County lineup for this evening's game. In goal for Newport, number 30, Nick Townsend. Number 2, Cameron Norman. 3, Ryan Haynes. 4, Josh Pask. Number 7, Robbie Wilmot. Number 10, Courtney Baker Richardson. 12, Alex Fisher. 17, Scott Bennett. Number 24, Jake Kane. Number 28, and their captain this evening, Mickey Demetriou. Number 31, Oliver Cooper. And on the bench from Newport, Joe Day, James Clark, Priestley Farquharson, Matty Dolan, Aaron Lewis, Lewis Collins, and James Waite. So let's start, Glenn, where we always seem to pick out one player that we want to keep an eye on, and that one player never ends up in the squad. Who was your man for tonight, and who are you glad isn't starting for Newport?
Well, Telford for them, centre forward, top goal scorer in League 2, scored 2 goals on Saturday. He was a danger man, and he was the one we've been talking about coming into the game. Fortunately for us, he's not even on the bench, he's not in the squad at all, so suggests that he's picked up an injury Saturday. We're unsure if it was COVID or whatever, but he's not in the squad, so that's positive for us. But Ollie Cooper starting for them. He plays in sort of that number 10 role, just behind the front players. He's on loan from Swansea, and from what we're hearing, he's had a very good sort of season so far. Everything sort of goes into him, goes through him, and he's the one who creates the chances for the forwards. So he'll be the danger man for them tonight, I would have thought.
And Charlie, you said before we came on air that Newport always stuck out in your mind as a direct team. They've come under new management recently. What are you expecting from them tonight?
Yeah, well, when you went to Newport, you knew what you was getting. They were very direct and they worked on their set pieces, but they're sort of changing and making that transition now where there are a lot more passes. There's still going to be a threat from them set pieces and stuff, but obviously they're not quite as direct as they have been in the past. And they're an informed team, they're a decent team, but as said, missing your star striker is tough for any team. So we'll see how they go on without him, and we'll see what they bring.
Yeah, we certainly will. And they may sit fifth in the table, Glenn. If my grandma had wheels, she'd be a bike. But if we win all three,
I'm glad you said that, not the other one.
If we win all of our 3 games in hand, we'd be equal on points on them. Does that make tonight a bigger occasion? Does it also kind of summarise what kind of position we are as a club at the moment?
I just think because of the last 6 weeks we've had, and probably a little bit before that, and a dip in form, I just think regardless of who we were playing against tonight, yes, it's Newport, they've won their last 2 games, scored 5 goals, not conceded any, they're the informed side. We need to get back to winning ways. We really, really do. If we've got aspirations of getting out of this league this season, getting a push in the playoffs or automatics, we need to start winning games. Forget the draws. We've drawn far too many games this season. We need to start picking up 3 points in games, especially home games, because we're very good at home. Okay, Saturday it didn't go in our favour, but we didn't lose. That was the main thing. We didn't lose. We kept a clean sheet. Tonight, regardless of Newport, and they are a good side, they will come and press us at the back. Our defenders, when they've got the ball, they'll come and put pressure on us and try and nick the ball high up the pitch. They will do that. It's just a way of us sussing out how they're going to play against us, working out how to get around them and get opportunities ourselves. But I fully expect us to come away with a win tonight.
Hopefully so. There's Wilkie's first prediction of the night, and as of course Glenn did just mention, there have been a lot of draws for the O's this season, and it was no different in the reverse fixture at Rodney Parade earlier on in the season. Let's remind ourselves of how the action unfolded on that afternoon.
Side are back looking to start a run of form after some patchy results that have started their season. It's the first ever league meeting against the Exiles for Orient throw. Bowling will come all the way through, driven back across by Wood. It's a real chance, a good parry, and pushed away again. Brilliant goalkeeping by Joe Day. Let it down, that's gone in. It's the opener for Harry Smith. A man in form right now, he's third in his last 4 matches. And the East Londoners up and running. Deemed to be in a natural position. Free kick well pushed away. Wilmot, early from him. Oh, and that's a rough challenge. It's a Newport penalty. Dolan to step up and stroke it in as he does so well. Still a chance though for Orient. Smith waiting in the middle, and it is Smith! He scored again! Orient lead again. Trident. James. So easily playing it around here, that's deflected. It's going to drop, it's 2-2! And it is Don Telford who's done it, the substitute.
Hopefully it's the full 3 points for the O's this evening and not just the one. And looking at that fixture and kind of the fixture on the whole, especially Charlie, obviously it's dubbed as the Justin Edinburgh Derby, and there's a lot made of, we've obviously stood just in front of the Justin Edinburgh stand, but how fantastic is it, you know, as a former player of his to see his legacy living on and being able to remember what a great man he was.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, he was just massive for both clubs, and Gaffer obviously always spoke about his time at Newport and how much he loved it there, and we all know how much fun and how much he loved being at Orient. So he would love to have been here watching this game tonight, and he's missed every day, but obviously the J3 Foundation doing some amazing stuff, and his legacy will always live on.
And you certainly feel that, don't you, Glenn? Not many of the players would have played under him, but he's still remembered around the club, and you still feel as though tonight that will still be mentioned and that will still be remembered and might add a little extra something to the game.
Yeah, with ourselves and Newport have played a few times since Justin's passing, and there's always it's sort of people always talking about it. We've not been outside the stadium talking to supporters, but you know that's probably one of the first things they're mentioning when they're seeing each other or they're talking to Newport fans or whatever. What a great man he was, what a great football manager he was as well. You were fortunate enough to play under him, so you got to see him firsthand every day. But yeah, his legacy will live on, and obviously we've got his name behind us on the stand.
We certainly do. Well, hopefully those can put an extra special performance in tonight for the big man. And let's remind ourselves of the starting lineup for the O's this evening. In goal for the O's, number 22, Lawrence Vigouroux. Number 3, Connor Wood. 9, Harry Smith. 10, Dan Kemp. Number 14, making his full debut, Otis Khan. Number 15, Alex Mitchell. 16, Aaron Drynan. Number 19, and captain tonight, Omar Beckles. Number 25, Shad Oji. 26, Hector Cipriano. And 32, making his first start for the O's, Jordan Brown. And on the bench, Sam Sargent, Dan Happy, Adam Thompson, Paul Smith, Dan Moss, Ruel Satiriou, and Matt Young. We always come to you for a little bit of a prediction, Glenn, but what way do you feel this coming tonight? Because, you know, a lot was made of maybe the lethargicness of Saturday's game against Port Vale, and a draw was maybe a few grumbles around the stadium. The fans in the stand will be expecting a lot more tonight.
I think there'll be a lot of energy to start with, especially with the young two, like you say, the two boys making their debuts tonight. There's young, fresh legs in there. I think they would have got a bit of a rocket after the game. I just think it'll be full of energy to start with. Hopefully we'll get a few early chances and tuck one away, and then settle ourselves down, you know.
And the last game you were here for was Swindon, and that was somehow our last win. I know that wasn't really anything to do with the players, but that was an emphatic win, 4 goals. And how massive could that be for the O's to kind of put Newport to the sword tonight?
Yeah, I was here for that. It was a high energy game, full 90 minutes. They went and they got the result that night, and they'll be looking for more of it tonight. And I'm really confident. I like the team that's out there tonight, and I'm really confident of a win.
And we touched on Paul Smith earlier. He has dropped to the bench. I'm not sure if that's maybe a little knock that he picked up on Saturday. We're not sure, but him alongside Ruel, and we've got experience across the pitch. But Smith and Satiriou especially, some good options to call upon if we need them. Yeah,
good options. Good bit of pace on there as well. We don't see Satiriou. We're not seeing Satiriou too much in the sort of last few games, but we know what he's like. He's that player who can do the unexpected. You know, give him the ball and he'll do something you do not expect, and he can conjure up a goal. Thank you for that. Obviously, he didn't like that. But Smith's on there. Yeah, maybe he's hopefully he's touch wood. He's not got a niggle from Saturday, but somebody of his calibre coming off the bench and getting on the pitch if needed, he can come on and do the business.
And Kenny and everyone at the club is so vocal about how promotion is the aim. We don't want to be sitting in mid-table. We experienced maybe some dips, you could say, in that promotion winning season, Charlie. This might feel like one just because of the lack of games and the lack of points we've been able to pick up. How big would it be for the second half of the season to get back on track and a team that's just above us and that we could catch up with? Mentally, it's a big one for the rest of the season.
Yeah, definitely. I think they're poised in a good position in the league, and a few results, a little run of games. You know how it is. You get a couple of wins, and it rolls from there. So you have a good run till the end of the season. Anything can happen, and it's a strong group. Obviously, there's a few injuries, unfortunately, but this group gets a few wins, and it could steamroll and get right up the league.
But how concerned are you, Glenn? They might not have their star striker in the squad, but Newport can still pose a threat. And how concerned are you tonight?
Do you know what? They'll be delighted with a draw tonight. I think they'll come away from home, know we're a strong side. When we're on our game, there's not many. Well, I don't think there's any team who can sort of match us. When we are bang on it, they'll be happy with a draw, coming away with a draw tonight. I just think they may shut up shop a little bit, just be cautious, not to try and not give anything away too early in the game. But that's why I think we really need to go at them and try and get that early goal, because then they're going to have to come and attack us. They're going to have to try and open up, which will play into our hands, and we can go and hopefully go at them a bit more and get a few more goals.
And the ground is filling up around us, Charlie, and as Glenn said, you know, Braille Group Stadium has been a bit of a fortress for the Otis year, scored a lot of goals. How important are the home support for that matter?
Yeah, it was the whole time I was here, that was our game plan. In the first 10 minutes, you've got to get the fans up. When you get these fans up, it makes it really hard for the away team. So they'll almost certainly be doing that from the start. Give something to the fans to cheer on, and they'll drag you through the rest of the 90 minutes.
Hopefully we don't need to drag them through, and hopefully it's a bit more plain sailing, but we can see the players across in the tunnel getting ready to make their way out onto the pitch here at the Braille Group Stadium. Don't forget, if you're watching along live on YouTube, head over to the Orient website Match Centre to purchase your match pass to join Dave Victor and Matt Hiscock as we get ready for the Orient, and it's live.